perfeito, noite enluarada. Fara afiados, caçador vai à caça. Na captura delas, de bailão em bailão. Na captura delas, de bailão em bailão, 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 bailão.
In my pocket, a table full of zlotys. Soon I will leave. This is my new call. I hear the native wind, wild step. I am flying home. I am still alive. Fire burns in my blood. I am heading towards my destiny. This is my land. This is my Ukraine. This is my land. This is my Ukraine. Гривні в кишені, злотих повний стіл. Скоро я поїду, це мій новий клич. Чую рідний вітер, дикий, степовий. Я лечу додому, я ще живий. Вогонь палає в моїй крові. Я йду назустріч своїй долі. Це моя земля, це моя Україна. Це моя земля, це моя Україна.
Гривні в кишені, злотих повний стіл. Скоро я поїду, це мій новий клич. Чую рідний вітер, дикий, степовий. Я лечу додому, я ще живий. Вогонь палає в моїй крові. Я йду назустріч своїй долі. Це моя земля, це моя Україна. Це моя земля, це моя Україна.
Grivnius in my pocket, a table full of zlotys. Soon I will leave. This is my new call. I hear the native wind, wild step. I am flying home. I am still alive. Fire burns in my blood. I am heading towards my destiny. This is my land. This is my Ukraine. This is my land. This is my Ukraine.
Гривні в кишені.
кишені, злотих повний стіл. Скоро я поїду, це мій новий клич. Чую рідний вітер, дикий, степовий. Я лечу додому, я ще живий. Вогонь палає в моїй крові, я йду назустріч своїй долі. Це моя земля, це моя Україна, це моя земля, це моя Україна.
Well, the penguin on the wall was feeling mighty fine, strolling on the baseboard, having a real good time. Then gravity kicked in, said your time is up, my friend. And that cool little dude was headed for the ground again. He hit the floor with style, a plucky little sound. Just a penguin on the floor, chilling on the ground.
Well, the penguin on the wall was feeling mighty fine, strolling on the baseboard, having a real good time. Then gravity kicked in, said your time is up, my friend. And that cool little dude was headed for the ground again. He hit the floor with style, a plucky little sound. Just a penguin on the floor, chilling on the ground.
Here is a complication of all of my AI shorts. Let's get into the video.
What if everyone became useless? I mean, it's not like anyone is indispensable. We all have our uses, but what if we all became useless at the same time? What if every single person on Earth became useless? I think it would be kind of funny if we were all like totally useless. Like imagine if one day you just woke up and your phone was made of lead and you couldn't use it anymore because it was literally made of lead. Oh my god, that would be so annoying. But also kind of funny if we were all like, I don't know, made of lead or something. We could still have our uses, like maybe as like a doorstop or something. I mean, we're all pretty heavy. Or maybe we could like, I don't know, be used as like a hammer or something. I mean, we're all pretty dense. But seriously, though, what if we all became useless? Like we couldn't do anything. It would be kind of sad, but also kind of funny. I mean, it's not like anyone is indispensable. We all have our uses. But what if we all became useless at the same time? What if every single person on Earth became useless? I think it would be kind of funny. What if everyone on the planet became invisible? Would you still be able to find your friends and family? You might be thinking that this would be a superpower, but actually, it's a curse. When we walk outside, we rely on our 5 senses to experience the world around us. If we lost our sense of sight, we would be utterly lost. We wouldn't be able to find our way home. We couldn't read or write. We would have no idea what time it was or how to get in contact with our friends and family. If everyone became invisible, there would be chaos. People would be running around in terror, not knowing where their loved ones were or if they would ever see them again. It would be a nightmare scenario. But if we all became invisible except for one person, that person would become very important. They would be the only person that we could rely on for help. The rest of us would be completely helpless. So what do you think? Would you rather be the one person who can be seen, or would you rather have everyone else on the planet become invisible? What if everyone in the world woke up tomorrow and all of a sudden, everyone was poor? How would society function? If you're thinking that this is a crazy idea that would never happen, just think about what happened to Sri Lanka. Their economy collapsed and their currency became totally worthless. People had to carry around wheelbarrows of cash for basic goods and services. If this can happen to an entire country, What could happen to the world? If all of a sudden, every single person on the planet lost 90% of their wealth, we would see chaos. People would be fighting over food and resources. There would be mass starvation and global famine. The world economy is so interconnected that if one part of it fails, the entire thing comes crashing down. So it doesn't take much to imagine a scenario where everyone gets poor and the entire world economy collapses. It's not a very fun movie, but it's a great way to learn about economics. Welcome to my channel. This is why cats always sit inside. Cats love sitting inside of boxes or bags or really anywhere that's enclosed. And there's a very good reason for this. You see, in the wild, cats are solitary hunters. They need to be able to sneak up on their prey without being seen. So they evolved to be very stealthy and quiet. And because of this, they're actually able to get much closer to their prey than you would think. Like for example, if a cat sees a mouse, it will wait until the mouse is just a few feet away before it pounces. So when your cat sits in a box or a bag, what they're really doing is practicing their hunting skills. They're getting ready to pounce on their next meal. So next time you see your cat sitting in a box, don't disturb them. Let them be little hunters. Ever wondered why your dog barks? I've got 5 reasons right here. 1. They want something. When your dog sees you and wags their tail, they're asking for something, whether it be food, water, a toy, or a walk. It's their way of communicating with you. 2. They're bored. Dogs can get bored easily, just like us humans. If they don't have enough toys or activities to keep them busy, they'll bark out of frustration. 3. They're scared or anxious. If there's a loud noise or a scary movie playing on TV, your dog may bark out of fear. They're trying to tell you that they're scared and they want comfort. 4. They want to play. Some dogs love to play and they'll bark excitedly when they want to play. They may also bark while they're playing to show that they're having fun. 5. They're protecting their territory. If a stranger approaches your house or your dog's yard, they may bark to warn them to stay away. This is a natural instinct in dogs, and it's their way of keeping their family safe. So the next time your dog barks, try to figure out why. They could be trying to tell you something. Why do we live in Earth? Why don't we live in air? Well, there's a very simple answer to that. It's because we are made of stardust. We literally cannot breathe without it. Our bodies are like 98% efficient at absorbing oxygen from the air. But only if that air contains the right amount of oxygen. Too much or too little and our bodies can't absorb it properly. Now, the Earth's atmosphere is about 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen, which is perfect for us humans. But it's also full of other stuff like carbon dioxide, water vapor, and even some argon. If we were to remove all of that extra stuff, we would have pure oxygen, which is great for breathing, but it's terrible for our bodies. Too much oxygen would cause our cells to explode. So we need the Earth's atmosphere to be a little less dense than pure oxygen. That's why we can't live in air. Now, if we were to somehow compress the Earth's atmosphere and make it denser, we could have more oxygen and we would be able to breathe just fine. In fact, that's what this device here is actually doing. It's compressing the air so that you can breathe easier. Why do we need clouds? I mean, it's not like we can control the weather, right? Well, clouds are actually really important for our planet and for us humans. First of all, clouds are what we call a greenhouse gas. They trap heat from the sun in our lower atmosphere, keeping our planet at a livable temperature. Without clouds, Earth would be a frozen ice cube. Not so good for us humans. Clouds also help to distribute heat around the planet. Hot air from the equator rises up into the clouds and then spreads out to the poles, cooling the planet as it goes. This is why cloud cover is so important for maintaining our climate. And let's not forget about the water cycle. Clouds are full of water vapor, which is just another way of saying that they're full of water. When that water vapor condenses into liquid form, it falls back to Earth as rain or snow. This is how clouds help to create the water cycle and provide us with fresh water for drinking and for growing food. So yeah, we need clouds. Let me explain why it's almost impossible to be born as a dog. You see, if you were to get pregnant by a dog, which is already difficult to do, you would have to carry the baby dog inside of you for 9 months. During that time, you would need to eat 200 grams of dog food per day. That's more than double the amount of food an adult dog eats. And even if you managed to do that, you still wouldn't be able to walk. You'd need to crawl on all fours and your human legs would just get in the way. And let's not forget about the pain. Labor would be excruciating because you'd be giving birth to a dog, not a human. Even after all that, you still wouldn't be able to live a normal life as a dog. You'd have to live in a doghouse and you wouldn't be able to talk to other humans. And the only thing you'd be able to do is bark. So yeah, being born as a dog is not exactly ideal. Why do we need to eat? Can someone please tell me why? We need to eat because our bodies are like little factories that run on fuel. And the fuel that we need to put in our bodies is food. If we don't eat, our bodies will start to shut down. Our brains will start to slow down. We'll feel tired and weak and eventually we'll die. Now, the type of food that we eat depends on the type of lifestyle that we have. Some people have very active lifestyles and they need a lot of energy to keep going. So they'll eat more food than someone who has a more sedentary lifestyle. It's also important to remember that not all calories are created equal. The calories that we get from junk food don't give us the same energy as the calories that we get from whole, unprocessed foods. So next time you sit down to eat, take a moment to appreciate the amazing bodies that we live in and the incredible fuel that powers them. Welcome to my channel. This is why phones break. When you drop your phone, the screen is the first thing that touches the ground. So when you drop it from a certain height, the screen will crack. That's just physics. You can also crack the back of your phone if you drop it on a hard surface like concrete. Phones are also really good at detecting when they're dropped. They have special sensors that can detect sudden changes in acceleration. And if your phone falls from a certain height, it will actually protect itself by shutting off the display and disconnecting the battery. That's why sometimes when you drop your phone, the screen goes black and your phone is still working. It just doesn't know which way is up or down. What if grass disappeared? If grass disappeared, we'd have no choice but to find a new material for lawns. Maybe we could use moss, which would require less water and still look green. Or we could grow algae in a lab and then spread it out on people's lawns like fertilizer. That would be a little slimy, but it would also glow green. So maybe not the best option. We could just pave over all the land with concrete. But then it would get really hot in the summer, and we'd have to water it constantly to prevent it from cracking. And let's not forget about the increased risk of skin cancer from all that UV radiation reflecting off the concrete. So what if we just accept that there will be no more grass and we move on with our lives? Well, we'd have to do that anyway, because the earthworms would eventually die off, and without them, the soil would become hard and unusable for growing anything. But here's the thing, most of the world's soil is already paved over or used for growing crops. So the chances of us running out of soil are slim to none. In other words, don't worry about it. What if Wi-Fi disappeared? You wake up in the morning, you go to your phone, you try to browse the internet, but it's not loading. You check your Wi-Fi connection, but it's not the problem. The problem is much bigger than that. You try to call your friends, but the cellular network is down, too. It's like the entire internet just vanished into thin air. You go outside and see everyone is freaking out because their cars can't connect to the GPS. Planes are grounded because they can't connect to the control towers. The stock market crashes because all the traders are freaking out. People are trying to book hotels and flights, but they can't connect to the servers. The entire global economy grinds to a halt as people realize the gravity of the situation. There is no Wi-Fi, there is no internet, there is no connection. We are truly on our own. What if there was no cancer? Okay, first of all, we'd have to get rid of all the cancer cells in the world. That's about 10 trillion, and then every day we'd have to kill another 10 trillion cancer cells that are just chilling in our bodies, waiting to turn into cancer. We'd need a massive army to do this. Like a small army of 200,000 soldiers, 100 of them would have to die every day to keep the cancer at bay. Or we could try a different approach. We could try to find a way to make cancer cells commit suicide. But the problem with that is cancer cells don't play by the rules. They're not like normal cells. They don't care about dying. In fact, they want to live forever. So what if we could trick them into thinking they're immortal? If we could find a way to make cancer cells think they'll never die, maybe then we could get rid of cancer for good. We have a brain and not a computer. Why is that? Well, there are many reasons. Here are just 3. No. 1. A computer needs electricity to work, but our brain doesn't. Sure, it needs glucose, but that's a form of chemical energy, not electrical. Electrical energy would actually kill our brain cells. Number 2. A computer needs to be programmed, but our brain doesn't. We are born with all the knowledge and abilities that we need. Sure, we can learn new things, but all the information is already in our brain. It's just waiting for us to access it. No. 3. A computer has no emotions, but our brain does. Emotions are important. They help us make decisions, form memories, and experience the world around us. So we have a brain and not a computer because our brain is much more efficient, much more powerful, and much more flexible than any computer.